It was unbelievable from a standpoint of culturally. It's an educational experience that's second to none. Literally, you're in a village that in Munich it was 124 nations, and most of the educational part of it, of the competition aside, it was just to see other people and other cultures from around the world. And you found out rather quickly that you had one common bond, and that was sports. But it gave you an opportunity to literally seek out friendships and relationships that went further than that. And then there was a function here that came across the desk of the athletic department there and said they were looking for someone at the World's Fair to put together sporting events. So it seemed like a natural. I went over and interviewed for it, and they said, well, we don't think you're quite qualified for this. We'll give you a coordinator's position. Finally, the president of the fair, I met with him, and he said, well, no, we'll give it to you. There's one caveat, however, that we have no budget. So you have to go out and literally sell all these events, bring all these events in. It's a matter of how many you want to bring in. The calendar is 26 weeks. The canvas is empty. You go for it. So literally we had 23 events in 26 weeks. Where we didn't have a budget, we generated a surplus of about $400,000. We had everything from an NFL exhibition game that drew 90,251 people to the NBA exhibition game with the Boston Celtics and the Philadelphia 76ers. We had the U.S. versus the Soviet Union in swimming. We had the PGA Cup matches. We had a variety of events, and we had gymnastics every day at the fair site. So it was pretty intense, pretty extensive, and again, it paid for itself. And it was a time when sports marketing was just getting started, so it was in infant stages. In addition to that, I procured all the items of memorabilia for a sports exhibit sponsored by Gatorade. After the fair was over, I returned all the items as memorabilia, and then contacted Gatorade, which was owned by Stokely Van Camp, and Bill Stokely is from Knoxville in East Tennessee. They said, well, they didn't really have anybody that evaluated sponsorships, and would I be interested in doing it? I said, again, I approached them, and they said, sure. So I was director of development, had no budget there. Gatorade sales were less than $60 million a year, and developed programs and exposure, NFL, Major League Baseball, etc. Took a leave of absence from Stokely, which in the interim was acquired by Quaker Oats. They came out before the fair was over, said, we'd like to have you back. Sales are now at $80 million. And how would you like, again, you have an empty canvas, you can be creative. We had no budget, relatively minimal amount, $1 million or $2 million, and did that for 15 years. So it was a matter of growing the brand from an $80 million brand to well over $1.8 billion before I left. Well, it gave me an opportunity. Having been a competitor, you see one side of it, but having been in the business side of it, you understand the relationship. In addition to that, it gave me the opportunity, there were 23 sports at the LA Games, to communicate with all the national sports governing bodies that were going to be affiliated with the Games from the United States, not to mention the international group. And when we addressed the Olympic Committee and they talked about the needs and the updates and the facilities, you were a trusted individual within the core of a small group that they believed you, they trusted you, and what you said they believed. And I thought, well, I need to look for some other place to basically operate out of. Came back here for the Florida game. The weather was great, fell in love with the house, bought it that day, and moved to Knoxville. Thought I'd be here about 6 months, and ended up, it's coming up on 4 years. It's a great place to be headquartered at. It's a good quality of life. I love the university. And I moved back here, as I said, 4 years ago, and there was an obvious change in leadership. Knox County government, Knox City government, both the mayors are extremely passionate about where they want the city as well as the county to go, and I think there's some great changes underway. You've got a lot of corporations that have located here, a lot of people, a lot of influx of young families, a good base, and with that will come better education, better schools, better services, as well as a variety of opportunities. And with the TVA and the lake system here, and the great 4 seasons, well-defined 4 seasons without the the major winter that I experienced having lived in Chicago 15 years. So in that regard, I believe that it's all uphill for Knoxville.